Hi, this is Bob Fossil, and this is a quick video just to show you what I've been working on and what some of the upcoming features in version 0.20 of my long file name browser for the esxDOS and divmmc compatible devices. So I go into the browser. Plugins, I've added a new plugin that supports the bitmaps in the Radstan format. So what these are 128 by 96 pixel 16 color images. You've probably seen them if you've got a esxDOS because they're supplied as a bunch of tab files, and there's a Family Guy picture and a SpongeBob SquarePants and some other bits and bobs. But I've actually sort of took that code out and made it like an actual sort of like a supported file type, so you don't have to use tab files anymore. So if we have a look here, go to the first one. So you've got the standard sort of left and browse left, browse right to move through. So those are the sort of standard ones that you get with the esxDOS. These a couple I did. There's Ren and Stimpy, The Simpsons, and there's some C64 graphics conversions. So I wondered whether the chunkiest like screen mode of the C64 would actually convert across. That one's okay, but there's a whizball picture which doesn't look too bad, and it's so the output from my amazing video capture card, it's also made it look a bit better, I think, with the slightly blurry quality of it. So yeah, the conversions I did, I used the I'm running Linux, so I used the GIMP image program to do that, and you just basically have to find a picture that's a sort of not too many colours, or you can try and reduce the colours down to 16 colours, but yeah, good luck with that. So it seems to be a bit hit and miss. Resize it down to 128 by 96 pixels, and then export it as a bitmap file. But in the compatibility options, you need to sort of disable. You need to check, the do not write colour space information, because the bitmap loader that the Radstan code uses, I think, just assumes like an older version of the bitmap format, because these are just internally BMP files, but I say I'll give them a different extension because they are a specific BMP file. You can't just chuck any BMP in it, because it just won't work, or you'll just get corrupted graphics shown on the screen. So that's that. The other thing I've sort of been looking at is configurations for the plugin system. So there's people have been sort of asking about, well, can we do this? You know, I want this option on the plugin, and could this plugin work differently? And I was having to think about it, and I thought the best way to do that was if the plugins themselves had their own sort of settings files, but sort of you'd need some way of sort of being able to easily adjust those and manage those settings. So I've written a new dot command called plugcfg, which lets you manage the settings for your plugins. So basically it's saying that you basically run it with the 3-letter name of the plugin that you want to configure. So at the moment I've only added settings for the SCR screen plugin and the waveform audio plugin. So if we go into the browser, just to I'll get to where I've got some wave files, go into WAV, and then so I've the program defaults to not doing the waveform display, and say the original code that did this did draw a waveform display, so then somebody then on the forum wrote an alternate version of the plugin which has got the waveform display enabled. So I thought maybe if we could have an option in and you could choose. So if I escape out of that and then do plug CFG and then WAV for the plugin. So it's got the top WAV plugin configuration, and then you've got show waveform display off. So if you use browser right, that toggles, that turns it on, and then browser left turns it off. So we want that on, and then if you press break, it won't save the settings. So if you press enter, it will then save the settings, and then if we pop back into the browser, and then we've now got the waveform display enabled. If we press escape, it then redraws the screen to remove the waveform that was displayed. I mentioned that the screen files also got settings. So if we do plug CFG screen, so we've got, because we've got two settings that you use cursor up, cursor down to go through, and then left and right. So we've got the option now to have a automatic slideshow. So if I turn that on, and then you can left and right adjust this value, which is the slideshow delay in seconds. So we've got a 5-second slideshow. Press save that, and then do F5, and then navigate back to my so hopefully after about 5 seconds it should now start scrolling through. And in this slideshow mode, the navigation keys are blocked out. The only key you can use is escape. That breaks you out of slideshow. Then if you go back in again, it will then start the slideshow again. That's a bit racy. I don't get into trouble with that. So yeah, that's the slideshow. And again, you go back into run the .plug CFG program. You can make it slower. You can make it faster. I think there's a maximum of 60 seconds. So on the sort of management side of things, the settings are now in the B plugins folder. I've created a CFG config folder. So those it will have a plugins.ini because that describes the settings, and I'll show that in a minute. But so the CFG files only exist after you've actually gone into plug CFG and actually sort of pressed enter to save settings. And as we've done that for the SCR and WAV plugins, that's why we've got config these .cfg files. If I do Shift V to do hex view. So that basically, that was the 01 is the enabled for the slideshow, and the 05 is the 5-second timeout for the slideshow. So the other thing is the plugins.ini, which if I do the text view, so this basically is like kind of a text file which tells the plug CFG program what settings specific plugins have got. See, I've added in a PT3 section, but I didn't get round to coding that at the moment. So yeah, there you can see that's the text that's actually shown. So then basically it means that I just need to update or change this plugins.ini rather than having to make changes to the code in the plug cfg command. So yeah, that's settings for plugins. So the other thing that I've been having a look at was that on the Spectrum Computing Forum, the thread for the browser, somebody said, "Oh, it'd be good if you could have a 2-window view." So I did actually wonder, is that even possible, and can I do that with the code? And so for a bit of hacking, it's not particularly a bit of a got the old saw and hammer and saw out and had a go at the existing browser code. I've got sort of a prototype version of a split window. So if you do .2 browse, it's a dot command. It's not going to be NMI, and at the moment it's limited. It's only going to run on the div MMC because I've basically used the additional memory for the. I use 16K to store the long file names and show the listings, and of course that's now double because you've got two windows that you can switch between with extended mode, and then they operate independently. So as you can see, the top line shows the name of the directory that the focus is currently in. And I can tab back, and then we're back in that folder there. It also remembers where the selection was in the different windows. So, but you've still got all the existing functionality. You can still look at optical illusions and play music and do other things. So there's a bit of functionality that's been chopped out, but the main file handling stuff is still there. So just to show the other feature that's been added, you can copy files between windows. So we say take that file there and then do Shift C, which I've made copy because Shift C in the current browser that does the ZX unit configuration, but I've removed that. So this is going to be like a more sort of a file-based tool. So if I do Shift C and fingers crossed, so you can see it's turned it into an 8.3 file name because, as I say, it can only say esxDOS has only got write support for 8.3 file names, and it's beyond my capabilities to try and do write support for long file names. As I say, read support was interesting enough, and as I say, I've got potential to break people's SD cards. I think if the writing code isn't up to scratch. So if we tab to that now and then select that, fingers crossed, it should all be good to go. So yeah, so that's what's going to be coming up in the next few weeks. So say version 0.20's got the Radistan bitmap plugin, and it will have plugin settings. So I'll try and go through and fill in some other settings for that, but as I say, that can be added to over time. So that's looking to get that out in the next couple of weeks. But so yeah, as for the two browse, the twin file window, that's still pretty much a prototype, but don't know when that's going to get done or whether it's going to get finished or not. So if I get any feedback on it, well, actually, as I say, I don't know how useful it's going to be, to be perfectly honest, so we'll see. So it still needs a bit of work on it, because so there's something that's not quite right, and as I say, at the moment it only works on div MMC, so I don't really want to have to do a divide version of it, because it just means I've got to do 2 bits of code, and it's a bit of a nightmare really. Anyway, yeah, so that's where we are. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.